Okay, I stumbled across this article from Essence. It says that the FBI is probing into the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre that occurred in 1921 on American soil, where folks had access to airplanes and bombs. So they not only bombed the hell out of this black thriving community, they also went through the community and unalived families, children included. I can't say I'm happy about this probe. It's like bittersweet because it shouldn't have never happened. They should have left these people alone. And nah. I'll be back. Welcome back. Hello. Thank you for your time. Let's get into this. As I said when I first opened this video, I'm not thrilled about this. It's like a bittersweet thing. And then I find it suspiciously peculiar how there is so much evidence pointing to the injustices that Black Americans have suffered in this country for decades and centuries, yet no justice has ever reached our communities, even to this day. And then the whole sham that Gavin Newsom put on, 2 years ago, developing this, building this panel of Black folks that was supposed to have our backs, and then, conveniently said, oh, okay, well, we didn't put the bill on his desk because we were afraid that he would veto it. I think it was a whole sham put on to get the Black vote. That was it. It had nothing to do with correcting or repairing damages done to the Black community. And then you have the parrots that, they hear things and they repeat it. California wasn't a slave state. Well, California wasn't a slave state, but California did so many things against Black folks. They did so many illegal things against Black people. And I did a video talking specifically about the racist state of California. And then not to mention the first governor of California was a whole racist. He literally banned Black folks from coming here. And then when that ban was rejected or vetoed, whatever they finally did to remove the ban, they gave Black folks hell in this country, in this state. I'll put that video in the description talking about how racist California is. So let's get on with this article by Essence. It starts off saying, the title is, "It's About Time DOJ Opens First Federal Probe into 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre." More than a century later, the few remaining survivors and their descendants are celebrating the long-overdue investigation into one of the deadliest racial attacks in U.S. history. More than 100 years after a white mob devastated the thriving Black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Department of Justice has announced the first ever federal investigation into the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, the Associated Press reports. Just them getting in airplanes, literally dropping bombs down on this community. That right there, that needs to be thoroughly investigated. Then they also had people on foot, white racists on foot, going through the community, picking Black people off, families, including children. Let's continue. Known as Black Wall Street, Greenwood was home to a prosperous Black community before it was violently attacked. 35 city blocks of Black-owned businesses, churches, hospitals, and homes were bombed, burned, and destroyed. Do you imagine the kind of wealth that would have circulated through our community to this day if they hadn't touched those businesses in that community? talk about generational wealth. It seems like this country does not want black folks to be rich. Everybody else can come in here. They even let the cartel come up in here and set up shop. Everybody, Asians, everybody can come in here and build generational wealth. Every group can come in this country and experience unimaginable wealth, except the ones who cause people to become rich. You can get upset if you want to, but black folks cause a lot of people to become rich. Let's talk about the Asian beauty community. You know, the beauty supply businesses you guys open, and the only people come there and support it as us. What other groups going into your beauty supply?
Let's continue. It's estimated that up to 300 people were killed.
Estimated. That's the key word.
Thousands were left homeless and generations of wealth destroyed in one of the worst instances of racial violence in the U.S. history. They said one of the worst. We acknowledge descendants of the survivors and the victims continue to bear the trauma of this act of racial terrorism, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Kristen Clark said during her remarks, according to the AP. The DOJ's move follows the Oklahoma Supreme Court's June decision to dismiss a reparations case filed by massacre survivors without taking it to trial. The federal review will be conducted by the Civil Rights Division's Cold Case Unit under the authority of Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act. This comes after a heartfelt plea in July for survivors Leslie Benenfield Randall, who is 109, and Viola Ford Fletcher, who is 110. Y'all better respect them two women. Let's continue. They call on the Biden administration to invoke the 2007 Act, which allows cold cases involving violent crimes against black people committed before 1970 to be reopened.
And I had no idea there was such an act. But we sure do know about these other acts for other groups. Asian crime bill, hint, hint.
Let's continue. Demario Solomon Simmons, the lead attorney for the Tulsa race massacre survivors, celebrated the DOJ's decision during a press conference on Monday.
It's about time, says Solomon Simmons,
flanked by descendants of the massacre survivors.
It only took 103 years, but this is a joyous occasion, a momentous day, an amazing opportunity for us to make sure that what happened here in Tulsa is understood for what it was. The largest crime scene in the history of this country. And I would like to add, I believe the largest crime was slavery on American soil. A lot of people want to come in. It doesn't matter what black folks talk about when it comes to the numerous justices, or when it comes to the numerous injustices committed against us in this country. You gotta have people that always want to come in. But wait a minute, remember, hey, no other group was enslaved in this country. No other group. So before you want to come in and talk about what happened to this group over here and what happened, if it didn't happen on American soil, there's no comparison. Not to mention what's still continuing to happen on American soil. You guys forgot about Sonia Massey, woman in her house asking for help, boiling water. What, she was going to have some coffee or something? And she ain't here today. You can't explain that away if you wanted to.
Let me continue. He credited the decision to persistent efforts, including multiple meetings with the DOJ, both in Washington, D.C. and virtually, and the ongoing dedication of the community.
This community would never stop fighting for reparations. This community would never forget what happened to our people just for being black, just for being successful, he said. So we are excited today. This has been a difficult journey. Lots of obstacles, odds, and oppositions, but today we have a victory.
Tiffany Crutcher, founder of the Terrence Crutcher Foundation and a descendant of the massacre survivor, echoed the sentiment, emphasizing how long the tragedy had been overlooked. Today, my family and community are deeply grateful that the U.S. Department of Justice is finally preparing to review the 1921 Tulsa race massacre. This tragedy has been ignored for far too long, Crutcher said at the press conference, according to ABC News. The DOJ plans to issue a public report detailing its findings by the end of the year. DOJ, I would like to add, don't just publish a report. Somebody gonna have to come in and back that report up, because I'm sure you're gonna be very fair. You're going to look under every rock. You're gonna find the source, and you're going to do a fair report that's true and honest. And Oklahoma, you better do right. Do you guys realize that the things that have been done against Black Americans, those are seeds that were planted? And the more you try to deny it, the more you refuse to do right, the worse it gets in this country. I guess you really do not think that highly of Black folks. You think that you can do these things for decades and centuries and nothing ever happens? Look around you. You realize some of you guys have families. You have children. So what you do and what you continue to do against Black Americans, denying them, denying the descendants' children of justice, all you do is make it worse for you. And Gavin Newsom, if this video so happened to cross your desk, it will behoove you to honor what you said you were going to do. You done just spoke those words out. You think it's not going to be repercussions? You only thinking about your political position. But when you do keep committing injustices against groups of people, it affects you not only business-wise, but your personal life. And Black Caucus of California, you know you should feel ashamed for participating in this sham. I've said it and I'm going to continue to say it. If Black folks really wanted to help Black Americans, you wouldn't have became a politician. You wouldn't have. Because look at the history of Black politicians in this nation, and then tell me how it has benefited Black Americans. I'm not going to say every Black politician is a fraud. That would be unfair. That would be generalizing. And anyone who knows better knows that generalization is not right. There are some good politicians out there. You just don't hear about them, and they don't get all the cutbacks, the kickbacks. They don't get all the donations because they're not playing the game. Those are the ones who really work for their communities and are struggling with resources, are struggling to find resources because they're not playing the game. But as soon as you agree to play the game, that's when you start flourishing. You notice I said you. I didn't say the community that politician represented. I said that politician starts to flourish. I got a lot of questions for you, Maxine Waters. Yes, I was born and raised or reared in California. So that's why I said I have a lot of questions for you. I have a lot of questions for a lot of Black politicians. Matter of fact, when I was 19 years old, I had the opportunity to have a sit-down meeting with Mark Whitley Thomas, and this is before he became huge. He had an office in Leimert Park, and I drove to his office, sat down in his office, and talked to that man, and told him how I felt about him and other Black politicians, even Brathwaite Burt. And I expressed to him the concerns and the biasness and the lack of consideration and care that still goes on today when it comes to Black folks and these Black politicians. Karen Bass, the mayor of LA. So he assured me that, hey,
I'm for my people. But yet, years later, I saw that you weren't. I was a part of this community garden in my neighborhood, in my community, and they seem to cater to Hispanics. And I'm not blaming the Hispanics. I'm blaming the people that brought this garden together, but seem to kind of ignore us. So, I've seen a lot in the state of California. And in due time. But yeah, Gavin Newsom, do right. Honor what you said. Stop playing with us. I don't know why you guys think that it's okay to keep playing with us, but you don't play those same games with other people. You should be concerned about continuing to play games with us. Because after all, to be real with you, who do people around the world look at? Who do they emulate? But you want to continue to play with us. Oh, let me mention Nori Martinez. Remember what they did about 2 years ago? Busted on audio talking fragrantly foul against us. Taking power, trying to take power from our community to give to theirs. Calling the little black boy who is adopted by another Los Angeles City Council member, talking bad about him. I ain't forgot, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who hasn't forgotten. All right. Thank you guys for taking time out of your life and checking out these videos and sharing them and supporting them and liking and commenting and subscribing. Thank you. It is very much appreciated. I'm telling you it is. Trust, it is. Now I'm about to shut down the shop, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.